ready to rock and roll, man?
I've been ready, dog.
What was that noise?
What, the crunch or the...
I know what the was. That's obviously from your mouth, but what was that?
That's my neck, bro.
Lord.
You got me fucking hunched over
You
here.
have that look. I mean, raise the microphone, homeboy.
It is, dude. I
Raise
got
it
bad
higher.
posture. What the fuck? Now I can't
Don't
see.
give me shit.
I can't see my computer
Look,
screen.
it's not my fault you're Quasimodo over there. Jesus.
Can't fucking
Hit it.
Welcome to the Coach's Sons podcast. It is Leap Year Day, February 29th. This does not happen often. And because of that, we're going to bring you an episode. Now, you're going to listen to this when it's not leap year, but we're not going to talk about it. Anyways, welcome back. My name is Andrew.
I'm Chris.
Chris, baseball's getting so close.
We're almost there,
They're
man.
getting so close. There's actual baseballs being thrown to hitters. Speaking of that, before we get into everything, MLB, know your audience. There's some kids playing each other that we didn't get to see, and that's ridiculous. Anyways, we'll get into that. But Chris, what's the first thing you want to talk about?
Oh, wow. We're jumping right in.
Let's
All
just
right,
jump
man.
into it.
All right,
well,
listen.
you know what? Hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Let's talk about more important things, like the fact that you're wearing a Braves shirt right now.
You already posted it to
did.
our Instagram. I'm already getting ripped apart. So for clarification, I try to get a shirt of every team that I go see a game at. I will typically wear that shirt, minus if they're playing the Mariners. And this was the first one I pulled out. It's also the only one that fit. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So
because you're
for right
losing so
now-
much weight, right?
Yeah. No. Quite the contrary, my friend.
Listen. You can be a closet Braves fan. I
I'm
will
not
gladly welcome you to that
I'm
train.
not one.
Okay.
All right.
Are we gonna go see the Braves or the Mariners first this year? Braves.
I've been trying to get you to go to opening weekend. You still haven't answered me.
That's not true. I haven't answered you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So
all right,
that's
all right.
out
Called
there.
out. Called out. Fine. Man, I'm excited. I think, excuse me, with the coming of spring training is always everyone's hyped. Everyone thinks their team's going to win. There's some people that think the Royals can win their division. That's how delusional we all are at this
fair.
time of the year, and it's probably some of the best feelings you'll have, and other than if you actually win. So I'm excited.
I can't wait to get this thing moving. I mean, spring training kind of started. Some pitchers and catchers were in town. Some of the guys showed up early in our last episode. Now we got games, right? We got action.
Yep.
We got home runs. We got prospects. We've got some injuries popping up. There's just some, there's news everywhere, right? There's sound clips. There's blurbs. There's crazy roster construction things going on. Like there's so much nuance to what's going on right now in baseball, but Cody Bellinger is signed, sir.
Yeah, he is.
So we got to start there.
Okay. No, and here's the deal. I would like to say, before we really get into it, I'm so happy that Boras didn't get what he wanted here.
He got a lot of money, though.
but not as much.
But he can leave. If he does it again, he'll just...
But I think this is a huge one for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, it took way too long. They should have done this months ago.
Who cares?
But the Boras was trying to stretch this out. So, anyways, I'm glad that
it's a very Boras deal. So it's 3 years, $80 million. He gets an opt-out after every season. So
he's going to do this every season.
So
Awesome.
he gets $30 million this year. If he opts in again, he'd get $30 million the following year. And for whatever reason, if he falls off a cliff, if he opts in again, he'll get $20 million the third year.
Yeah.
So that probably won't happen. But what it does is it really just says, for everybody who's trying to say you won't do it, you kind of fell off a cliff, you had a rebound year, contract year. But if he does it again, he walks and then he'll probably get his contract.
Yeah.
Is what happens. $30 million is a lot of money. Let's be real.
It's not a lot of money. I understand that. But I still don't think it's what Boras wanted. And you know me, I'm anti-Boras. So
I'm sick of him. I'm sick of hearing about him. And, just a quick, we're not even going to, maybe small, Jesus Christ, prediction in terms of where these guys go, maybe even not. But Snell, Montgomery, Matt Chapman, still not all signed. Who knows where they're going to go? Probably
They all go back to the same teams they were with.
You would think injuries would pay something here. With Bradish going down in Baltimore, like maybe once it's official that he might not be able to go, maybe the Orioles just buck up the money for a similar Bellinger type deal. 1 year, $30 million, $35 million, whatever the hell you pay him. Montgomery is so closely tied to the Red Sox, it just seems foregone conclusion. He lives there, wife lives there.
It'd be really
like
good
that.
for the Red Sox.
And who the hell knows what's going to happen with Matt Chapman? He's obviously the lesser of those three, but he's a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, decent bat. He'll get something to go somewhere eventually. But I'm done.
Third base is shallow, too.
I'm over it. I don't want to talk about them anymore. Bellinger signed. Cubs are, we'll say back, right? Like you say they spent, but they just retained the guy.
Yeah.
They got Imanaga, but lost Stroman, but that's kind of an easy.
I think it's a switch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good swap out. So they'll be back in it, if everybody grows. So good for the Cubs, good for Bellinger, good for baseball. Like maybe we'll get some at bats for him soon. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But I'm done talking about Scott Boras and his clients until they do something.
Yeah, I'm
Snell
with you there.
they probably signed tonight for our release tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
We are the getting something happening curse. So I agree with you. Something's going to happen. Screw Boras and what he's doing to baseball. But all right, let's move on. Spring training. Ohtani went deep immediately.
second at bat. Struck out his first
it was the
one.
second one. Oh, okay. Well, still, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then got married, apparently, in his third at bat.
Yeah, like how does a guy who's, again, I said this before, when we first brought up his free agency and all that, like, a man's like one of the most popular people on the planet. And he just like pops up out of nowhere on Instagram. It might, who knows what time, it was like 2 a.m. Eastern. We're just like, hey guys, like, I'm married. And then today when he asked about it, he's just like, yeah, just a run of the mill Japanese woman. This is what he said, basically. Just like an everyday. That's what he said. It was just like,
I feel like that's not the proper way to explain your wife.
I don't. Who the hell knows? She could not even exist at this point. I don't know. But honestly, good for him. It almost feels weird that he's setting like a new standard of like privacy amongst celebrities. We, for whatever reason, feel we deserve to know everything about these people's lives, which none of it really matters at all.
Yeah.
So there's intrigue because it's mysterious, right? You're like, who the hell is this? Now everybody's like, who is this person? Like, whatever. Eventually, I'm sure she'll get found out, but maybe not. I don't know. Who the hell knows? But good for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, he's not going to be distracted, by all these American women. So
yeah, that's what it is.
But
hey, he hit a bomb. And he's the same guy.
Yeah.
The pitching stuff we'll see. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard anything on that. Like I don't know if he's actually even like throwing.
He shouldn't be.
Yeah. Like I don't know that timeline.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see like how that works. I'm sure he'll just do like.
Is he going to DH?
Yeah, he's going to DH.
Okay,
all
that's
year.
what I thought.
But I'm sure he's just going to do like live BP throughout the season. I would think, like if he's going to start. I don't know. I don't know the actual.
No, I think based on timeline, I don't think he should start throwing, even soft throwing, until probably closer to August.
But the man's going to rake.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Whatever.
I mean, he's going to hit bombs. That's what he does. Yamamoto too. Just while we're talking about the stupid Dodgers, looked.
Yeah.
Sharp. He looked sharp.
Yeah. There is like a glimmer, like not a glimmer, but like a piece of you that's like, is he the next Dice K? And like Dice K, he maybe had like a good year here or something. But like for as much hype as Dice K got when he came over, like this guy was more. And you're like, okay, maybe.
I mean, he's like what I think it's Nomo more than anything else.
Well, Nomo was the first. That doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, but his impact was everyone's like, is this guy good? And then
I'm not talking about a cultural impact. I don't care about that.
No,
I'm just
meant
talking
actual
about pure talent.
I meant talent because when Nomo came, he was unhittable for 2 years, and I think Yamamoto is going to be that too.
Okay, sure. I don't know enough about Nomo at this point.
That's fine.
I'm going to have to defer to you.
That's fine.
But I am going to be looking it up in the background. So eventually I'm going to come down.
I feel like of course, this was when I was a child, and so that's what I think happened. But I swear he was elite caliber for at least 2 years before. I think he ended up with the Mets towards the end of his career, which is that kills everyone. But
yeah, no, okay. You're right. When he first got here, you finished fourth in the Cy Young twice.
Yep. Yeah.
Won Rookie of the Year. All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Sure.
he came out on fire. And I do think that Yamamoto has that ability. I mean,
Okay. No,
maybe.
all right.
We'll see. Yeah.
Credit. He did pitch really well.
Told you.
Those were his actual best 2 seasons.
What I told you, man. Look at me.
He got me. He got Hey. All right. Cool.
All right,
But,
sweet.
Yeah,
I'll take
Yamamoto's
it.
going to be the real deal.
Yeah.
Watch out for him. And again, we kind of talked about it with everything's new, right? Everything's fresh, and
Yeah.
you're on top of the world, right? Everybody's going to be, Mike Trout or Ohtani, right? Like your guy that you found in the 5th round of the MLB draft, like this is his year. He's coming up. Oh man, he hit a home run in spring training. Like you're just so thrilled. Like it's just a crazy time where and again, we rag on the Royals and Tigers fans because they are like so excited about these teams.
Right.
And I get it, right? Like you're just, hey, like this is our year. Everybody starts anew. Maybe we got something.
There's no more euphoric feeling than the beginning of the season. We're unstoppable. We're gonna these guys are all gonna be at their potential the entire year, and everyone's gonna win 100 games. It's a great feeling. It's just a great feeling.
I think we got to get there. Not now, not this year. Next year we're going. We're gonna figure out us.
The Mariners?
No, dude. Jesus.
What are you talking about right now? Oh, us
we're
go
going
to
to spring training.
Oh, I'm
Coach and Sons
sorry.
podcast
Okay.
are going to spring
I
training.
completely
next
agree.
year.
We're gonna heckle
figure it
everyone. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out.
I'm in.
Coming next year.
Yeah, coming 2025.
Yeah.
Coach's Sons Pod.
If we're still
Live spring training.
we'll figure it out. So see you then. But in another thing on spring training, you touched on it.
Yeah.
We had 1 o'clock, 105, I think was first pitch today. Marquee matchup of young talent. We got Paul Skenes and
Stud.
Jackson Holliday.
Stud.
Just stud players, right? Skenes pitcher for the Pirates.
Number
Holliday,
one pick the last 2 years? Or when was Holiday number one?
No, he was 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
It's pretty I mean,
It wasn't
they're
last
both
year, it was
number
the year
one.
before.
They're both number ones. Yeah.
It wasn't last year, it was the year before.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
yes, but just power on power, right?
Yeah.
Come get me. And that game's not anywhere. Not on TV,
So
not
odd.
online.
Yeah.
The only clips I've seen were from a reporter's phone.
It's shaky as hell.
Don't get me wrong. He did a great job with what he had, but it's just that's how I saw this marquee matchup, and
Yeah.
you're like this. I've never seen. I love baseball. I love the sport so much, but I've never seen a league or a group of people who cry about money, like ownership so much, and then just fail to deliver everything.
Yeah.
Everything that fans want doesn't happen. And then tomorrow they'll be like, hey, we released this new thing. It's like, thanks. Nobody fucking asked for that.
Yeah.
You know, you're just no, I didn't give a shit about what you just gave me. I want to see Paul's, you couldn't sell an advertising clip during this game in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where everybody was it just.
Yeah, and the result was boring. It was a ground out.
It's
but
baseball.
It was a
One of
100
three
mile,
things
it was
is
a
gonna
100 mile an
happen.
hour fastball that was thrown that he grounded out on. And but that's the matchup we want to see.
I don't know if he threw 2 or 1. I didn't look.
I think it was 2.
But regardless,
most of the
you would've
starters are
got
doing
to see
2
him.
innings. Yeah,
And then Holliday, I think, played through most of the game. I think he played into the 5th.
I know he had at
so
least,
you got a couple ABs.
Yeah, a couple
so
ABs,
again, that's what you want to see. I'm not watching spring training for the the 15th guy, but figure out how to do it. It's not my job to figure it out. It's somebody's in the league. You're gonna complain about money all the time and how we can't. Nobody wants to watch. Everybody's asking to watch this goddamn
Absolutely.
game.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even StatCast. Not that I care that much about that, but just nothing to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You would think ESPN Plus, because ESPN Plus carries a lot of sports that no one gives a shit about.
They can't care. I guess MLB
Maybe that's what it is. Is it on
does
MLB?
it. Most of them are, but not all of them. It's weird.
Okay.
I don't know what. I haven't deep dived into that, so I don't know what makes a game be played and not played or on there. But
Yeah.
I know that they're not all there, and that's just stupid. There's no
weird.
reason for it.
Yeah, that's weird.
And some of them don't even have we'll just call it infrastructure to do. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. We'll get off that topic. So Keegan actually responded to one of our posts today.
Shout out to Keegan.
Yeah, shout out Keegan. He does a lot for us. And he said we should be asking how do we make spring training interesting? Like, what needs to happen? Like, do they need to attract new people during spring training, or is it just give who's watching something to?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because baseball's already a long season, right? So really, the spring training. To me, it's more fun if the studs don't even play in spring training. You know what I mean? It's all kids. Like, that's really what we want to see. We want to see the kids play. What do those guys have? Because we're going to watch the studs play all year.
That's fair.
So, I mean, but what do they? But again, that's for diehards like us that care about that kind of stuff. So
yeah, like how do
for
they
the
make
casual? I don't know what they do for the casual.
Like he brought up he also brought up mic'd players, right? Like I know they do. They try to do that in Sunday Night Baseball, and that's a weird thing. You got A-Rod asking some crazy questions while like Mookie's trying to feel the ground ball.
I mean, it depends on the player, right? Some of the players are entertaining. Freddie Freeman, Anthony Rizzo, those guys are great, right? But some of it was weird. Some of it was real weird.
So it's like it's cool to an extent, but like at the same time, like so I think it works in spring training because it's a super laid back type of environment. So like you again, you mic up Mookie Betts, like whatever. It's not a huge deal, but you do that on Sunday Night Baseball. Like this game matters.
Yeah,
like, you guys gotta.
I'm with you. You know what they should do? What's more entertaining is the pitcher batter battle, right? So just imagine if like they mic up, like let's say Skenes, right, in this example, and he has a mic and his gloves up to his face. He's like, all right, fastball high and in. I was like, okay, couldn't keep up with it. I'm gonna give him a curveball away. Like actual talking through the thought process to a battle with a batter. Like to me, that would be fascinating as hell. And I would watch that nonstop.
I actually,
you know
really
what I mean,
like
or
that.
even and from the batter perspective too, because
I guess
Freddie Freddie did it while batting once, but he wasn't talking about he threw me a fastball, I'm going to be sitting curveball, like that kind of stuff. Like that to me would be interesting.
I don't think you could do it from a batter perspective because
the catcher's right there. Yeah, that's fair. But from the pitcher's perspective, you absolutely could.
No, that seems kind of cool. I actually really like that idea.
Yeah, so
again, not my job to figure it out. We're just throwing up stuff against the wall here, but that sounds like a really good idea.
That'd be cool as shit.
Or if somebody wants to complain about it being the pitcher, like the coach in the dugout can say, "This is what we're throwing." Like,
this is what we're going to throw. This is why.
Again, I also don't. You'd think I would know more about this stuff, but I don't. The pitch comm, like I don't know who has access to that.
Yeah, I mean it's probably just the pitching coach, if I'm being honest.
But they're not always they're not always calling the pitches though. Like sometimes it's just the pitcher and catcher.
Yes, correct.
So I wonder if
you hear all the time, like the catchers call the games, right? It's
correct.
The catcher's job.
But
to
with
know.
the pitch comm, does that mean now the manager knows or whomever, the pitching coach, whoever?
Yeah, I think what they're relaying more of anything else is reminders, right? Hey, he's hit, his percentages are this, and this. Go get him. Or hey, we've seen a lot of weakness here. Let's try to attack that. I think that's probably what it is. It's not.
No, I don't.
It's
I
not
don't
telling the catcher. Like, hey, call fastball.
Stop.
Hey, call curveball.
Timeout. Yeah. I don't think this is like a quarterback headset we're talking about here. Like they're just pushing buttons on a thing.
Oh, that's it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this isn't like they're not talking. I don't think. Again, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know how it works either.
I definitely
I just assumed it was an in-ear.
Stop. I think it is, but I also don't think it's what you're thinking in like a coach's headset.
Gotcha. You just think it's beeps, like Morse code?
I don't know. I guess I never really.
We are shitty fans. We need to find this out because I actually don't know either. I just
right.
I know it's mic'd, so I'm just gonna assume that there's a voice saying something to him. But now that you say that, I've never seen a coach talking to a microphone.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like an NFL coach.
But also, I've never seen a coach on the side going beep 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 either. So I don't know.
Something gets read. Like, is it like a Siri? Like the Siri just say like fastball, right? Pitch count device formed by pitchers, catchers, and 3 other fielders. Oh, so they have it too. Okay, I think I knew that. Sometimes the pitcher has a device that transmits a call for both the pitch and location, and everyone connected has a device that reads them the call. I don't know where the hell this came from. Where did this come from?
I don't know. This is not
This is
great
bad
podcast. This is bad podcasting. We're moving on.
All right. But we don't know what
more to come. We're going to tweet about this later.
We have no goddamn clue what PitchCom is. But So another thing that comes with spring training, as much of the highs of the high and the excitement of what's going on are the low of the lows, and like your guys get hurt, and you're like, now what?
Yep.
Right? We built the team ready for this. Like the big one, Kodai Senga from the Mets.
Yep.
And we were texting about it, you and I and Doug, our good friend Doug. Some people will get that one, but once he went away, right? You take him out of the rotation. That rotation stinks.
Yeah.
It's very bad. Like
So
Jose
Mets.
Quintana
It's so Mets.
is your number one.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Mets are cursed.
For a
Like, there's
team that's
no way
for a
to
team
get
that's
around it.
projected to win like 81, 82 games, you would think that they have more in backup. Right. I guess in my head before that injury, I just never thought of who was there. Like it never occurred to me to be like, oh, let's take a look at the Mets rotation. It was like Senga got hurt, and it's like, let's take. Or I saw a clip, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
like this is bad.
So I mean, their lineup's going to carry them a lot of the ways, which is what's been happening anyways. But then they also play the Nationals and the Marlins a lot. So I mean, you can get to higher win totals.
Yeah, but
because
those
of
went
that.
down a lot.
Yeah.
You don't play in
I guess that's
division.
true. Yeah.
You play them more often for sure.
Yeah.
But not as much
As it used to be. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I mean, to me, the
we
Mets
might be going under on them too.
Oh,
but
yeah,
we'll
most
see.
likely. We'll see
We'll
what that
see.
looks like. But I'm ready to bet under on the Mets every year because those guys always figure out a way to make
They
it
always
not work.
mess it up.
They
But
always mess it up.
Again, I guess I just thought with all the spending and who they had last year, it was more of a
wonder how
a
much-
better support system, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like I just saw another kid, I forget his name, maybe Max Kranick. I want to say he's from northeastern Pennsylvania. I might have made that up. I don't know. He just got hurt. He pitched like real well the other day, and now it's like, oh, hamstring. There goes your your guy who's projected to be your 5 starter.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. Like they just don't. They can't stay healthy.
it's so Mets, man.
They're in trouble if that lineup doesn't carry them. Pete Alonso gets traded. Lindor probably doesn't move, but who the hell
No,
knows?
I don't think there's a market for Lindor, but Alonso definitely.
But he's
Yeah.
a free agent after the year too.
Oh, that's fair.
So who knows what they
Yeah.
do. But anyway,
He might play his
enough
ass off.
I'm done with the Mets too. No other. I don't think there was any other big injuries.
No, that's the only one that matters.
Well, I'm gonna steal the show now because
Go
there
ahead.
was one. Super quick Meh-riners minute.
Oh, okay.
My boy Matt Brash is hurt.
Oh, that's
Elbow.
right. That's right.
Our
Elbow?
It's something. I think we get the full report tomorrow, but it is no bueno.
He did it
and-
while pitching? Did you see that?
I think it was like post bull. It wasn't like, oh, I pulled something, take me out. But
Yeah.
I think it was like after a bullpen or something.
no.
Yeah, no good. He was like
No
our
me gusta.
number. He was not our closer, but just okay.
he was
he
your-
threw like 80 games.
Yeah, he was your setup guy, right?
Yeah, just come get us out of this, Matt. Wicked, like one of those, like you see the pitching accounts. They're like, watch this pitch. His slider's on there all the time.
Yeah, gotcha.
So he's hurt. That's not good. That's all I got. I'm not happy about it, and we'll move on from there.
Okay,
But,
so
as much sadness as there is on in my neck of the woods, based on that, you got a little something to be
I
excited
do.
about.
I was going to say, since we're talking about the Mariners, King Giles,
Giles,
whatever. It's GIF, who knows? No one knows the answer to that. So pitched 1 inning, 3 strikeouts. I mean, looks awesome. Thank you for that. But who I actually want to talk about, so for the Braves breakdown, is Chris Sale. He looked good. I mean, now, granted, it is the Pirates and it is spring training, but struck out O'Neill to start the game. Got a couple outs, came in the 2nd inning and struck out the side. So looked good. And if he can be average to good all year, I will take it. I don't want him to be a stud yet. I don't know if he can be stud Sale again. That would be awesome, but I'm not expecting that. I just want him to be average to good so he can just play the whole year. I don't want him to overload too early, be dominant too early, and then fall off a cliff. You know what I mean? That's my fear with Sale. So just be good, man. Just eat those innings up. Be consistent. I'll take it. And so that's what I saw in spring training, so I'm excited.
I have 2 questions, super quick.
I got 2 answers.
And I want to word these correctly because if I screw them up, the second question will be null and void.
Okay.
Number 1, how many innings would you like to see Chris Sale throw this year? Like, for it to be a successful season, he throws X amount of innings. He's not getting 200. We know that. He's probably, like, I just want to know. I want to know that.
So I'm thinking, let's say 100 and man, I would say 120 at least.
It's low, but that's probably makes
That's
sense.
the minimum, right? I need him to get at least 120, right?
It's a typical Tyler Glasnow season.
Correct. Right. Exactly.
But he's always out at the end of the year.
Well, okay. So that's the least. And so I'm hoping if he gets that little, it's slow startup, maybe something weird happens in the middle of the season, then he gets the rest at the end. But I want him throwing like 150 to 170, if I'm being quite honest.
You just need him fresh for the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know how you do that correctly.
I would love to get at least 120 out of him. That's the bare minimum.
Would you prefer, you only get to pick one,
Okay.
Chris Sale or Charlie Morton, to be not to be at their best, but to give you a more productive season? Like, who makes you better? Who hurts you
Sale.
more?
Yeah, Sale.
Okay.
So, yeah, Sale's a younger pitcher, and he's also has the higher ceiling. So, Morton's 30. No, Morton might be 40, actually. I think Morton's like
I'll leave
old.
I'm not guessing. This is
no, you need to guess, Chris.
Charlie Morton?
Yeah, Charlie Morton, go.
39.
Okay, I think he's 40.
He is.
I think he's actually 40.
He is 40.
There we go. We go.
I didn't even get a chance to guess.
You're welcome. But yeah, so Morton is, there's just no ceiling whatsoever. I mean, he needs to be consistent too, but I don't think his consistency is as important as Sale, because I feel like our younger guys can do what Morton does.
Okay.
You can fill them in, like whoever that fifth starter becomes. Whereas I don't think they can be what Sale is.
So if Morton missed time, you'd think you'd be fine. If Sale missed time, it'd go worse for you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I wanted.
100%.
That was where I was going with that. I probably didn't word it.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, that 100%. That's my feeling there. So, and hoping one of these young arms can really step up and be a solid, fifth starter, fourth starter whenever one of the older guys gets a little roughed up. So
we'll leave that talk for May. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happen. Do we miss any spring training stuff?
The only other thing I can think of is so we talked about it some last episode, but it was mainly like the real logo and jersey maniacs that cared about it. But the jersey thing, like the uniform thing, has gotten huge. It's not just people who care about it. It's the whole fan base as a whole is now saying, what the hell is going on?
So bad.
And you know what? Like the Royals, props to them, because they're like, oh no, these jerseys are dog shit. We would like to change them, and they petitioned. They got it, and I would love to see. Sense. I would love to see more teams do that. Sorry, Royals, I'm still slamming the under.
I
but
think the only thing that from my non-expert jersey opinion,
right.
I don't care much about them. It looks like they just got the bigger letters back. Like that logo's still lower.
Oh, it's just the bigger letters.
It looks fine.
Yeah, it's just the bigger letters.
It looks fine as it is. As long as the letters are bigger, good. The pants I can't speak to.
Oh, God.
There was some preposterous.
Oh, my gosh.
Just absurd pictures out there on the internet.
Oh, it's awful.
Not safe for work.
Yeah.
Pictures on the internet.
Don't Google it if you're working. I will say, who was it? Under Armour that says we got you covered.
Yeah.
And that was a part of their ads. It was a brilliant move to say, hey, our pants aren't see-through. So, Nike, Fanatic, whoever's actually responsible for this fiasco.
Don't care anymore.
Don't care who's at fault, but Major League Baseball needs to get it together, because it's not just the hardcores that are upset about it now. People who don't care are noticing. Players are complaining about it.
Non-Nike sponsored athletes not named Mike Trout and Corbin Carroll are starting to speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
But Mike Trout has obligations. He can't bite the
really
hand.
expensive ones.
Can't bite the hand that feeds him. But I think that's it for spring training, right? Like just excitement. I'm sorry I didn't cover your team's prospect, right? I know that there's some guys out there that are raking, and that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
Right? That chances are they're not going to make the team for whatever stupid ass reason that the team comes up with. But we'll get more into, your opening day raw, what that's going to look like kind of into next week. The next couple weeks is what we've got going on. So we'll try and get a little deeper during that time. But for now, I think we got that covered.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other big baseball story is not game related.
Not game related.
Exactly. It's related to a team that we don't want to support because we hate their ownership, but they have great colors, great logos, and their fan base is pretty dedicated, except when it comes to attending games.
But that they're proving a point by doing that. So what Andrew's alluding to is the Oakland A's and their fan base and what they are doing to, we'll call it stand up to the league and ownership. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of how this whole Vegas thing is going, but long story short, Vegas came out, I think it was the mayor, I don't know, somebody in Vegas was like, we don't really want them here, you should stay in Oakland. Oakland doesn't really want them there because they know that they're going to leave, and they're trying to disseminate how to make all this work. And the A's and their ownership and leadership, whatever you want to call those clowns, are just fumbling every which way.
Yep.
And I this isn't a story about them. Screw them. I'm gonna bitch about them in a minute. But for now, the story that was last weekend. The Oakland A's fans organized their own fan fest.
Yep.
So their own festival. The Oakland A's had zero involvement in this. Was the A's weren't even invited.
Yep.
Screw you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to do this ourselves.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I mean, they had local businesses, other teams in the area. They had actual former players attend. It was the real deal. It looks like something that the team would have put on.
We're going to give credit. The people I've seen, and if I'm missing anybody, I am sorry. But I know Last Dive Bar, their establishment, they did a huge job in getting everything set up, as well as the Oakland 68s. I believe that they're the official group. Maybe not recognized by the A's anymore.
Probably not.
But they are the official / unofficial group of the A's. I'm pretty sure Dallas Braden shouts them out all the time. Which for him, that's a weird spot because he's employed by the A's. I don't know how he manages all that.
Exactly.
But they did a great job. There was thousands upon thousands of people. I want to say there was like 15 to 20,000 people that showed up to this event. It's almost like a giant block party.
Yeah.
Right? Pictures were awesome. Everybody's happy. You said it, some former players, you're talking like, Oakland A's perspective, mind you. So, but Grant Balfour, Trevor May recently retired, and our boy Coco Chris.
One of the top 3 all-time greatest baseball names.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they supported it, right? And that's awesome, right? Like they threw a big event, and they're doing so. They're creating some sort of movement, right? They got. Not laughed at, but like Manfred came up with some loser comments about, them supporting the team when they did that reverse boycott and sold out the stadium or whatever they did. And it was like, well, we could do that, but this owner's a jerk off essentially.
Yeah.
And we don't want to support him. It's not that they don't support the players, right? Zach Galoff has support.
Yep.
I don't even know that many players on the team. This is pathetic.
There's not a lot,
like
dude.
Ryan Noda gets support. Like they love the players. It's not them, and it's not their fault that they're stuck in that hellhole of franchise. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But like I just have to keep giving them credit. Like I took, like, every time I saw it, it was just like, wow, like this is awesome. Like nobody asked them to do it, and to toot your horn for a little bit, you do a local soccer supporter group here,
right?
The Reedy River Riot, and it's something like that times like 1,000.
Yeah, it's
right?
massive. Yeah.
And again, nobody did it alone, right? They all worked together and made it happen. But when you have a team that you care that deeply about and they're just getting ripped away from you.
Yeah.
Like imagine just growing up, with the Atlanta Braves here in Greenville, hypothetically. Right. Like they're, and then, one day it's just, we're going to go to Oklahoma, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And they're just, they're gone. And before they left you, they didn't spend, like, the team was garbage.
Yeah.
And you're like,
no, it feels intentional. Like I want to hear from A's fans more than any of them.
I tried so hard to get somebody. We're going to eventually.
Yeah, because here's the deal. It's you have this team, and as a fan, if you listen to this podcast, you're a big fan of a team. So you have this love that you can't really explain, whether it's, you grew up in it, or whatever, your parents are into it, whatever caused you to create that bond. And to watch that team continue to decline, and what the reason is, it's because these owners don't care. They're trying to make a play for money. They're trying to get out of there. Like, how can you still be a fan? Because that has to be tough.
Correct.
For it to be like, I love this team that I'm never going to go see. That's got to be such a weird dichotomy. I want to talk to an A's fan so bad just because
we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to get one of them on the horn because they're excited and I think the word is proud of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it is weird, right? I don't live I root for the Mariners. I don't live anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Right. I've never lived 10 minutes, a 20-minute drive to my favorite team. So I don't know how that feels.
Yeah.
Right. To wake up and be like, I'm going to go root for my favorite team at their stadium every day.
Right.
Like whatever.
Awesome.
So it's just a weird. And again, when your team's that bad, it's just, and doesn't get better. That product on the field is garbage and has been garbage. Yeah. They made a movie about, and it's a different ownership group.
Yeah,
but still,
completely different. Yeah,
they've just been, they've been around the block and they still care about this team. Mm-hmm. And like so much so, like another sort of reverse boycott that they're doing. Opening day, they're just hosting a giant tailgate in the parking lot. They're not going in.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I hope that goes so well.
Yeah, right. Like, and you can't help from afar just be like, yeah, like do it. Right. Like, and what's weird is like, what's the expected outcome though? Like if this whole thing goes to shit with Vegas
and they go, or you mean, what do you mean? They actually go to Vegas? Or
no. It's like this Vegas thing is like they're lying about the A's ownership group is bad. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're lying about stuff. Like there's reports about all types of stuff. I'm not going to go into that. I hate those people. I'm going to go off on a tangent. The A's official Twitter account blocked comments. Can't comment on anything. How the hell do you... the president...
Fucking
loser,
cowards.
Caval, he doesn't even deserve to have his name
Coward.
pronounced. My goal is to get blocked by this loser.
What a coward.
But I'm not going to call him I'm going to call him a loser and a clown. But nothing worse than that. Nothing bad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get blocked. I deserve it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't... He has his comments locked too. Just tweeting like
into the void.
This is about Oakland. Like, dude, you don't give a shit about Oakland. You're a scumbag, and you just care about money, and that's all this is about. And I think it's like little guy fights the man, right?
Yeah.
Like, because Manfred wants them out of Oakland too. Is it a good reason? Maybe. Like, I don't know.
You know what I mean? The reason though? I
money.
mean,
it's money.
Yeah.
If the reason is money, it's probably the right decision.
Yeah. I mean,
I hate to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go backwards. Screw the A's, screw John Fisher, screw this Dave Caval guy, Gable, screw him too. It's all about these fans. They should get supported. We should support them. I have to double check the site, but I think it was Oaklandish. Oh, the word Oakland and then ish.
Yeah.
It has a site, super simple. It's just a shirt, a green and white shirt says sell.
Nice.
$15. I might grab one.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So to be honest with you, I think that's a great point because I'm like, man, I'm going to buy an A's hat now, but I'm like, no, that doesn't support those people. That supports the team.
Yeah. Like,
so let's find a couple different websites. I mean, if they have a shirt that says sell, I'll buy that. That sounds great.
$15. It's worth it.
If they have a hat that says something similar, like with a fake A logo, I'll buy the shit out of that too. I want to support those people because they deserve it for sure. Yeah,
they deserve
that's awesome.
it.
That's really cool.
They're doing great things, with what they have. They're trying real hard. A's are trying to stop them every which way. And it's just a weird dynamic between ownership and fans, which like you don't expect that. Like it just goes to show that deep down, like they don't care about you as a fan, and that's demoralizing.
Yeah.
As much as deep down that's what
true.
it is, to see it in practice is just a weird thing.
It's tough. Like, so we'll go back to, you reference the local soccer team. So we are a smaller city and we have a local soccer team, right? And it's a professional team, but it's not MLS, right? But the owners are from Greenville, right? And so you can feel that they care about Greenville because of how they talk to their fans, how they talk to, their staff. Like it matters. It's because it matters to them. You get up to that level where there's billions, millions, billions of dollars that matter, and you become a number. I liken it to, working a small company versus a big company, right? There's a lot of opportunity in these bigger companies to make more money and to go places and to travel, but you are just a number to that corporate entity, conglomerate. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's a local business or a small business, you're not just a number. You're Chris or you're Andrew, and so. It sucks, and it's the reality of the situation, but I'm still going to be pro Oaklandish and, not pro A's. So
68's
68's.
I don't
okay.
know why I want to keep calling it Dave's Last Dive Bar. Dave's has nothing to do with it. It's just called the Last Dive Bar. I'm sorry, okay. But Last Dive Bar, the Oakland 68's, Oaklandish being the site where that sell shirt is.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
I'll look it up after, and we'll share it out.
Let's
there.
tweet that out.
But
that's
eventually,
awesome.
we got to talk to some of these people.
No,
one of these people, I don't know, somebody.
Yeah, if you know someone who is a part of this, please send them this episode. Tweet us, just message us on Instagram. We want to talk to.
We
these
got
people.
your back all the way from Greenville, South Carolina.
I don't know what it's going to take, but we will do whatever it takes. So that's awesome. I mean I love that, and I hope that there's some success there. But I just don't know how that ends in a positive way.
What do you want them to do? Do they stay? The only
thing that's positive is that guy selling. That's the only positive.
But if they're only going to approve a sale to a guy who's going to want to move the team. Yeah, that's what I mean. Big picture, it doesn't feel like it's going to do much, but I don't know.
Isn't there something to do with the city of Oakland won't let them build a new stadium too? Isn't there weird nuances there? Or am I making that up?
No, there's some stuff there, but it was there's something going on with the lease. There's a lot of inner city. Yeah. Inter their connections and what's going on there. So I don't want to speculate incorrectly.
Well, I mean, obviously Oakland is not a great place for sports teams. I mean, the Raiders left. I think the Warriors, that's Oakland, right? I mean,
they moved.
They moved. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, they used to be right next to them.
That's right. They moved out of the city, downtown area.
I don't know where they are.
About that. Okay.
Yeah, they're in.
Well, I'll take that back then. So, I don't know. I
don't know the answer.
So it's probably city. It's probably ownership, and it's MLB.
Yeah, it's bad. It doesn't
Big
look good. But we support you guys.
Yep.
We'll do what we can from afar. We'll buy a $15 T-shirt.
I will.
We're going to fight the fight.
I'm doing that tonight. I'm ready to be a part of it. So moving on to our last segment, we've talked about spring training. We've talked about the other big story in baseball, which is the A's fans, not the team. Fuck the team. So let's move on to another big piece of baseball fandom, and that's fantasy baseball. Chris and I are both in the league together. This is the first time. Well, actually, we played in one last year, but we're going to take you guys along with us as we go through it because we think that would be fun. But in no way is this a fantasy baseball podcast. So I wanted to kind of talk to it and talk about it as a fan. And how does fantasy baseball impact your viewership or your fandom as a whole, right? I think that's where we'll start. I know I'm drafting 8th in our draft, Chris. Do you know where you're at?
4.
4? So who are you aiming for?
I have no idea.
I think I'm taking a stud pitcher first.
That's why you lose.
I mean, okay. So his pitcher that's like quarterbacks. There's everyone's good, so you wait to draft
yes
them.
And
is
no.
that the idea?
You either get one or you don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's fair.
You either get one or you take
that's why I'm saying
Jose Barrios and Logan Gilbert 4 rounds later.
Right. Well, that's what I'm thinking because by pick 8, all the studs like Soto and Acuna, those guys will be gone. So when it gets to me,
all right, hang on. Let's think through this rationally.
Okay.
Just in no order. Yep. Acuna, Soto,
Betts,
Mookie, Judge. I'm getting one of them. Done. Don't even fucking overthink it.
Yeah, no, you got
it.
I mean, so who else? Olsen, Freddie.
I do love. Ooh.
So those guys will go
right after
5, 6, 7 will be.
I don't know.
Insert player, and then I'm taking the best pitcher on the board. I'm taking Cole. You know what I mean? I have to at 8, right? Because I mean, who else am I?
You don't have to do anything.
Well, no. Just think about it though. I can get the best pitcher in the game or the 8th best baseball player. I know we're missing someone, and whoever's a big fantasy nerd is going to be screaming at the computer right now.
Your boy is projected to score more than Cole is, though.
Strider? Shit.
See, that's a decision.
It's going to be tough.
There's a chance you don't even get to them, though. Like, they might just go right. Like, dude,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. You never know how people want to draft.
To be honest, though, like, it's a drop after them.
Pitching wise? Yeah, I don't disagree. See, there you go. I'm taking stud pitcher. If someone takes Cole, I'm taking Strider. Boom.
Yeah, I'm
done.
hanging.
Decided.
All right.
Decided. All right, cool. So that's how our first picks are going.
There we go. So everybody that in the league, like pretty much half of our listening base that's in this, just know that that's where we're going with that.
And get ready to fuck us.
Yeah. So, you actually came up with a lot of these talking points, which is fine. Like I appreciate like where you were coming from with all this. So the first one I have jotted down is, so let me preface this. I'm in 4 leagues, including the one we're in together.
Gotcha.
Right? I would probably get in like 1 or 2 more if the opportunity presented itself in the right format, right people, all that. So I don't know. Are you in just this one?
Yeah, I'll just be in this one. There might be another one that I'm in.
But last year was the first time you did it? Or no? Did you do fantasy?
I've done fantasy baseball a couple times, but it's not been very consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like after doing it last year, while doing it last year, did it make you like care more? Did it make you enjoy baseball more?
So it made me care about the rest of baseball more, right?
Okay.
I'm a diehard Braves fan. I watch, every game that I can. But it made me pay more attention to the other games for sure. So I think it does. So does it enhance my fandom? It does enhance it as baseball as a whole. It makes me care about other things that I normally wouldn't. And there's still, because baseball's a long season, there's still some fatigue that happens.
Oh yeah.
I play fantasy football religiously, right? But that's
different.
1 game a week,
That's
and
different.
it's just a lot different, right? I think this year, if I'm being honest, and I think something you and I have talked about, I'm going to do a lot more underdog in baseball this year, and we'll make that a part of our
us.
we'll make that
Underdog.
a part of the discussion, because
That's all we got.
We live in a state where sports betting is illegal. So when we talk about
Not allowed.
it's
illegal strong.
Okay,
It's not allowed.
So we have to go to another state to play sports bets, other than like fantasy driven things. An underdog somehow gets away with being a
they're
fantasy
like prop bets or something. I don't know how they
gets
do
to
it.
be a fantasy bet, and so we get to actually put money on that one. So I think I'm going to do that a lot more this year with baseball, just to continue that enhancement of everything else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What about you?
I mean, I'm always watching, because I couldn't tell you the last time I wasn't in 4 leagues.
Yeah.
I think I might have even been in another one at some point. I don't remember exactly. But for me, and I think I talked about my setup, I've got 3 TVs in my office area at my house.
Yeah.
And that's not strictly for baseball, but for sports viewing purposes. And baseball season, it's all lit up baseball.
Yeah.
And it's easy, as you said, you get into the dog days and like, yes, I'm watching the Mariners more intently, but you're like, Trout's going against Verlander. Like, I'm literally just flipping to like things that I want to watch.
Yeah.
But there's also days where I'm like, like a Monday and half the league's off. You're just like, I got White Sox and, Royals on in the background. Like, but it's on, right? Like, so I always, you're always looking, you're like, not Bobby Witt per se, but like, another Vinny, I can't pronounce his name, Pasquantino.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy could be a good player. You're kind of like finding guys and like coming around, and, I only have 1 volume on TV, so I don't get to hear all the commentary because I'd go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But overall, I love it. It's a great time of year. I'm in all these, you get in these dynasty leagues. I'm sending texts. Who do I keep? Who do I trade?
Absolutely.
You're trying to make deals and all that type of stuff.
I think my next move for baseball is to be in a real dynasty league, because the one we're in now is a redraft.
Correct.
So I think that's where I want to dedicate my actual care and time to.
It's so much fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun. So you and I need to work on that next year. I think it's probably too late at this point.
We'll figure it out.
Because that'd be fun as hell.
Maybe we become friends friends with a lot of other podcasters
Let's
and have
do
like
it.
a podcast
a
league or
podcast.
something.
I'm sure they exist. They're just not going to let us in because we're not big enough yet.
No, we make it. And we make it. So
we
all the
make
little,
it.
like not little, but
okay.
like, our range of podcasters, like
With the tens of listeners? Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
They probably got they got way more, I think, but the Blue Jays guys might, but then you're not going to see Vlad, Bo, Bichette.
Okay, so that's a good question. So leading into the next thing I wanted to talk about, how much more stock do you put in your players above another player?
That's so hard.
Yeah.
Because
and like here's
like your picks coming up, right? Like, so
Yeah.
hypothetically, if I picked like 7th,
yeah.
right, in front of you,
Yeah.
I know, and again, just rationally thinking, like, I know that if I don't take Matt Olson or if I don't take Spencer Strider, that he's not coming back to me because you're going to take
1,000%.
him. Right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
So even as an opponent, right, knowing your other, league mates' favorite teams is like beneficial.
Bro, if Matt makes it to me, I'm going to be so excited.
He might.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
There's a chance that he might. I'm stoked. Okay, sweet.
There's a few Braves fans though, so I gotta look. I haven't looked at the full.
Right.
But you get my point though.
Yeah.
Like that if you're near me, like you're like, oh, Luis Castillo's there,
there. I'm
or
taking
whoever,
him.
right?
Yeah.
Like one of those pitchers. So yes, you put more stock into them, but you're also like, oh, like if they don't produce, like now I'm double sad. Right?
Yeah.
Like, not only am I sad that like George Kirby's having a bad year, like he also lost me however much money this league was.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
it's like hedging your bets when you bet against your team to win a game.
For the most part, though, like especially redraft. In this league, it's really just a best available.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I got you.
Okay. Like my guy's there, and like you can't. You say it, but baseball's different. It's not like football where you're like, well, I can only have him and the receiver, right? You don't want the running back, or you don't, whatever. But like, I could have the catcher, I could have a pitcher, I could have the closer.
Yeah, that's true.
I could pick Julio, Cal Raleigh, and Jorge Polanco, and technically, is every game going to go great? No, when they lose 1-0, I get killed. But
Right. Yeah. No, I got
there's some stock in it. Some people go a little crazy.
Some people go crazy. Okay,
I just got everybody.
So what about the reverse of that? Do you avoid drafting like your arch nemesis teams? Like, are you drafting Astros?
I mean, I would take Yordan Alvarez every time.
Okay, you should.
He's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Well, I have Kyle Tucker in like 3 leagues.
Okay, so the answer to that's yes. Yeah.
One league.
So here's the deal. Ask me if I would draft Bryce Harper.
That's why you're not going to win the league.
Fuck Bryce Harper. I would not draft him. So fair. Oh, you know what? Bryce should probably be drafted higher than we were saying too. Anyways,
Olsen should go before him.
okay, I agree with that statement.
I just traded. Fun fact. And then one of the other leagues I'm in, I just traded Bryce Harper.
Good for you. He sucks. I hate him. He's the worst. Okay, so for me, I avoid specific players because I can't root for him.
No,
I can't root for him. I don't care. I don't care. You're not a real fan, Chris. I can't root for those guys. Fuck them.
But the color is green, man. As long as they're gonna win me something,
you know what, Chris? You know what's more important than green? That ugly ass trophy at the end of the season.
Which one?
The World Series trophy.
Okay, the hunk of metal. Sorry, I didn't know if you meant
the most disgusting trophy in all of pro sports.
I mean,
oh come on.
So no.
Okay, I thought you were about to argue that. Okay.
No. Well, Manfred calls it a hunk of metal, which is bullshit.
Okay.
Because he hates baseball, and I can't wait till he's gone. But
in 2029,
like 9 years, he said 5, but whatever. But I don't even know where I was going with this. What the hell was I going to say to you?
That you love me?
No.
That's weird.
No.
How many is too many players from your team?
Probably like 5.
5? But all position players. I mean, if you have like a couple pitchers, that's not gonna.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too, though. Like, okay, like let's make it up. Let's say you had you loved the Braves rotation, and you ended up somehow with Strider, Fried, and Sale,
That'd be
and you're
awesome.
like, but deep down you're like, okay, that's cool, but like. You go into a series, right, and it's them 3. You're like, well, we're gonna lose one of these, right? You're like, I'm gonna lose one of these. You get my point?
Okay,
like,
3's too
I
many.
can't win every game. But if Sale was your 5th starter, you'd be like, or whatever.
Yeah,
4th starter, you'd be like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like it feels like 3 starters is too many.
3 starters is too many, but I mean, bullpen wise, I mean, you can starter or closer. That's fine.
Yeah. Whatever. That doesn't
Completely
matter.
agree. Yeah.
I think that's fine. I have no idea what the hell I was going to say. It obviously isn't that important.
It's not that important.
I think it was
Chris.
like a question thing.
Okay.
But we talked about our league a little bit and who we're apparently going to pick. I don't know who the hell's going to be there in the second round. We're not going into this.
No, that's too deep.
We're not getting there.
We still have to do some more.
So this league that we're in is a points league.
Okay.
Points
I see where you're going.
based.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Some people like it. I enjoy it. I think it's straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
But some people like the roto, like the categories, if you will.
I like roto more.
I'm in a league with that, and it just doesn't do it for me.
Interesting.
Like, I guess, well, you'll love it because you love stolen bases, but it's just
Because
like,
stolen bases matter, asshole.
sure. Like in Acuna, unrelated, right? Because he's the number 1 pick in any league that
Correct.
we do.
As he should be.
But like, I just don't find it appealing that I should be rostering Esteury Ruiz.
Because you only care about certain stats, where I care about the game as a whole, Chris. Like you only care
but
about certain things. I care about all of the
'cause
game.
you only
That's
care
why
about certain
roto
stats.
matters.
You
Roto
know.
matters because it's every facet of the game, or it should be.
But
Whereas,
you're only rostering Esteury Ruiz because he steals bases. He doesn't do anything else.
I mean, I'm
So
gonna.
this is bad because I need to pick somebody else who steals bases because this is A's talk and we just like pump them up and I'm just ripping apart like they're young like promising player.
fast player yet.
Yeah, but you get my point.
Right. I mean, no, I don't get your point. I think your point is invalid because no, okay. I'm glad that you like head to head, but I think roto is the better.
But
to me, roto feels more
roto
baseball.
could still be head to head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's still head to head.
That's fine. Yeah.
I guess. Well, I guess it depends on the league.
I mean, it depends on the league, but like, is it a daily? Is it like a weekly roto or is it a yearly roto? Do they do that?
The one I'm in is weekly.
Okay. So your year stats don't even matter. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, no, that's not my point.
What is your point, Chris? What are you getting at
That
here?
guys who just steal bases shouldn't just be on your team because they steal bases. It's stupid.
But you have guys that just hit home runs. They don't do anything else. They strike out a shit ton.
Yeah, but with that comes like RBI.
Well,
and
with stolen
OPS
bases comes like runs and on base. You're not going to steal a base unless you're on base, son of a bitch. Sure. Make a face all you want. I'm right.
I'm gonna be honest. Well, there's a couple guys up here. I was looking at like the stolen base leaders from last year.
Yeah.
And it was surprisingly like a lot of good players.
Yeah, Corbin, Acuna.
Ruiz is up there. He had
Ruiz,
67. Yeah. And then like CJ Abrams who had a good year.
Yep. Okay.
Nico Horner.
Yeah.
Kim from the Padres. Whatever.
Okay.
Julio, Ellie De La Cruz, and then it gets weird.
Okay.
Castro from the Twins, Jorge Mateo, Josh Lowe. Yeah, we're over that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
top 7.
So solid players. Yeah, overall pretty solid players. So I'm indifferent, I guess. I guess it's a weird.
So here's the deal. I do like head to head more than like a yearly roto because you can be out of it in a year roto in a couple.
I don't even know how a year works.
Like literally the
just
stat,
counts
like
home runs?
So it does all your stats, right? And
If home runs is a category, my team ends up with 700 home runs. Or something?
So if you're first place, like you get the points for that, and that weighs where you're at. And that's interesting. But also, if you suck early, then you stop paying attention.
Yeah, we're out on that.
Exactly.
We're
so
doing team.
I definitely like weekly head to head, but I think roto to me just feels more like because baseball's a stat game.
That's fair.
So when I look at fantasy and I just see points, I'm like, well, how did I get 175 points? You know what I mean? Like I want to know why, and that's why I like roto.
You could read
it
the
spells
rules.
It out. Yeah, but it's just so much more. Like where football's pretty like cut and dry. There's like 3 or 4 things that can happen that get you points. Baseball has a bazillion things. So roto to me makes more sense.
I get it. How many categories though?
I mean,
I do 5 and 5.
I was gonna say 5 and 5. That's the standard. I'm okay with that.
Some people do like 10 and No,
That's a lot.
Some people get.
I mean, I get, but I understand the draw to that though, Chris, because again, it's a stat game. That's fun to me.
The other thing I haven't done in baseball that we do in football is an auction draft. I've not done a baseball auction.
That would take forever. You know what I mean?
Dynasty baseball
Good God,
auction
that would
draft.
Take, oh my God.
Yeah.
Anybody want to draft for 10 hours?
Live
Let's
stream
do it.
event. We're gonna make this a social media phenomenon.
All right, I'm in. Count me. in.
But it has to. But it's an all nighter though. So it starts at like no. We make it start at like 10 p.m. or something like Eastern and just draft through the night.
Like no one's allowed to go to sleep. So
Yeah.
like Barstool style.
Yeah,
like,
just live stream.
Just a live stream. People gonna watch us sleep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm in.
You gotta have each team has to have a pair, so one person could sleep.
I'm in. You like wake up like, who the fuck did you just draft?
Yeah, exactly.
How much money? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
mean-
how we're doing it.
Hey, okay,
Done.
I'm in.
We'll talk to
We'll do
people.
that too. But I'm excited. I mean, I think fantasy baseball definitely brings another element to it. And if you guys want to hear us talk more about fantasy, we can. But again, I know there's podcasts dedicated to just that.
There's
that
so much
conversation.
into it.
Yeah.
And, I love it.
Yeah.
Clearly, I said it a million times. I definitely enjoyed talking about it. But as Andrew said, like, it's very easy to just fall down that rabbit hole and almost never come out.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have me talking about like the 80th ranked prospect in Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. And they
which
don't
is exciting in that particular league and in the dynasty sphere. Like that's a big deal. Like that's what also makes spring training so exciting, right? You're trying to find that next guy.
That diamond in the rough.
But to devote, time and effort and energy to that fantasy world is in I agree with you, is a completely different realm.
Exactly.
So, but again, if that's what you want to hear us talk about,
We'll do it.
you tell us and I'll pivot like crazy.
Pivot.
Yeah, we'll pivot like
No,
crazy.
I mean, really, in the end, like our goal is to have a podcast that you would feels like you're sitting around talking to your buddies. That's what we're doing. And sometimes you go down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
and
we
sometimes,
do.
and we can definitely do that. But, we just want to thank all of you for listening. Again, just before we wrap up, this coming month, we are going to go all in on team reviews, and we want your help, right? So, and this is how you do that. We're looking for 90-second clips from a fan from every single team. You don't have to be an expert. We just want to know what it is that you're excited about. What are the key players that will help you be successful? What are your expectations? Anything that you want to say in those 90 seconds, we want to hear, because it doesn't need to be our echo chamber. We want to get involved. We want to get people excited and talking about it. So the idea is you'll send it in, you'll email it us at coachessonspod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on X or Instagram with that clip. We'll listen to the clip on air. We'll talk about it. And we have a couple other things planned for, all the team reviews per division, but we're gonna be podcasting a lot, and we hope you guys are just as excited about it as we are.
Yeah, and to Andrew's point about the echo chamber, right? You've heard my opinion, a billion times on the Royals, right? You probably don't want to hear it. We're still going to talk about them, don't get me wrong, but I still want a fan's perspective, right? We want to hear from you, and that's what's important. And then you could call it dissect, but almost just elaborate more on what you're saying, right? Maybe we agree completely, maybe we don't. And that's part of what we're trying to do, make you part of this conversation.
Absolutely.
So our call to action today is for next Wednesday. So that would be March 6th. We are going to be asking for all AL submissions to be in.
Yes.
With that said, the teams that we are needing now, I'm going to throw an asterisk in here. If your team is not named, technically we have it filled, but still feel free to send something.
The more we have, the better.
That does not mean you're not going to get in. Like, please feel free, if you are a fan of any team, send us a clip. We'll do our best to get it in. There's probably a 93% chance that you end up in the show anyway.
1,000%.
So the teams that we are in dire need of are the Chicago White Sox, Kansas City Royals, Cleveland Guardians, Minnesota Twins, the New York Yankees, oddly enough, Tampa Bay Rays, Houston Astros, and Oakland A's.
Okay.
And yeah, that does sound like a lot. And if we don't get one for every team, I suppose that's okay, but that's not the goal.
Nope.
We want to hear from you. Hopefully you want to hear us break down what you have to say too, so you could be mad at us online. And that's really it. And the following week, we're going to be asking for NL. So still a general call to action. All NL, feel free to send.
Yep.
But that'll be due on the 13th. So when we release our first one next... Oh, shit. I forgot the time frame of what we're doing. We'll have to do social media. We're going to have to do some work on the other guys. But NL, you have till the 13th, but we'll take any and all for what you guys got.
Absolutely. And we're so excited to hear from you and to get to engage in ways we haven't done before. But until then, my name's Andrew.
I'm Chris.
And this is the Coach's Sons Podcast.